Hello friends, welcome back to War 8. We are on the cusp of falling back into Platinum 4, needing a win today to stay alive in Platinum 3. Today we're taking on WW11M, Rage of the something that I can't remember. I actually won't forget this alliance because they didn't place any mini-bosses in the center of the map in our battle group. So, going in with the trusty trio, Void, Namor, and Warlock. This has become kind of my go-to team, and let's get right to it. So first up we have a Captain Marvel classic version that I will henceforth just refer to as Captain Marvel, since I refer to the new one as just Brie Larson, after the actress who plays her. Captain Marvel is a hero, so she is completely power-locked on this node, which makes this fight even more of a breeze than just fighting Captain Marvel normally. So Captain Marvel normally, the more power she has, the harder she hits. So no power equals pretty much no attack damage. Not much else to say about her. Don't hit into her block because she absorbs the power. Not that it would matter in this case because she's power locked. The objective here, as I say pretty much every war video, is just to get out of here with a yellow bar. Using willpower and the weakness debuffs from the long distance relationship node to keep myself topped off. I really hate saying long distance relationship. I hate saying it. It's too long. It needs a better name for the node. Anyways, Captain Marvel goes down, and we are moving on. So next up we have a Symbiote Supreme on Special Lock 1 and that node that I don't want to say anymore. So the objective here, again, since Symbiote Supreme is able to be parried, we just want to go in and pretty much just try and parry him as much as possible. Intercepts are okay. We want to avoid getting a dex when he has a stagger on us. So since he's duped, he's going to place a stagger on us every, I think it's like 12 or 14 seconds depending on his sig level. So you see we have one on there now. It was about 20-some seconds into the fight, so it must be a low sig level on this particular Symbiote Supreme. And eventually we would stop his power gain, and he's not even going to get a special off before we nuke him down with the degen. So pretty easy fight there too. Nothing special going on. Alright, so we skipped the mini-bosses since there were none, and now we've got a Magik up here on Recovery and Vigor. I actually changed up my masteries for this fight because I knew it was either going to be bring like Blade or Quake to avoid Limbo, or just try and power through it. So I ended up changing my utility masteries and putting 3 out of 3 into Pacify. So you see I kind of work around that here after I boost up. I am using medium boosts here because I have enough energy between myself and the other 2 guys up in my section that we could go through this whole section, make it to Boss Island, and then get in a couple boss fights. So I wanted to make as much use of the boost as I could. So, see, I'm taking her just below a bar of power, and then while she is stunned, I'm taking her over that bar of power and immediately backing off just in case Limbo procs. So I get lucky there. Limbo does not proc. I probably should have dueled this person at first because they were running suicides, and that really made the fight a lot easier. So repeat that. Take her just below a bar of power, and no Limbo on the second try. She does proc Limbo the third try. But she's already dead, so pretty easy, not a lot of Limbo damage, and pretty happy with the way that fight turned out. Alright, we're going to go in with this fight with Void rather than Warlock, specifically because Angela has but a few debuffs that are more or less permanent. So she's got that armor up buff, her regen procs all the time, and then she has that Fury. So with Warlock, the infection duration is lessened for every buff that the opponent has. So against somebody like Angela, who has a pretty consistent number of buffs, 2 or 3 at least, the infection is going to be much more difficult to keep up the whole time unless you play very aggressively, get a lot of parries off. I'm not saying that it's going to be a hard fight with Warlock, and it definitely could be done. But being that this is a 6-star, higher health pool, I just went in thinking that Void is just the easier option here. And you can see Angela, she's not a difficult champion to fight by any stretch. Her specials are very easy to dodge, either one you choose to avoid. And so we're just going to kind of play it slow. We've got Fear the Void up, so she's heal blocked. and one more hit will knock her down. So there we go. Alright, so that's it from me on Section 2. Now we're moving over to Boss Island. We have this Namor on Recovery and Strike Back. Going to go in with Void again here rather than Warlock. I think we had this fight the other day, I think, 2 wars ago maybe. And the reason we want Void here is because we want to either completely remove or at least lessen the power gain from Imperious Rex. So I made a little mistake there and forgot about Strike Back. Accidentally took him way too close to a Special 3. So I pay attention to that the rest of the fight. I do want to push him to a Special 2 because I find it much easier to evade than a Special 1. Special 1, there seems to be some variation in the distance when he is like doing his water twirl toward you. Sometimes it's difficult unless you have a champ with a super long evade distance like Void or like Venom or like Darkhawk to avoid all the hits of a Special 1. So when possible, I like to go for the 2. So right there you see he hit Imperious Rex, but he did not get 95% power. He only got about 66%, and that was from I had 1 Petrify up. So now we've got both Petrifies up, so Imperious Rex will no longer be a problem. It's actually still going because I keep hitting into him to give him more power as his power is constantly draining. Finally it ends, and he's about a third of life left, and pretty happy with the way this fight has gone. I think this would have been not a much more difficult fight with Warlock, but you know, killing that power gain from Namor really is what makes this fight sort of difficult. So I'm glad to get out of there with the W. All right, next up we have a Korg on the Debuff Immune Mini. This Korg also has energy resistance and crit resistance, so the damage that I'm returning to him from Thorns will be lessened. Also, I can't count on massive crits from my specials under Imperious Rex to kill him, so I am going to pop a medium mutant special boost just to give me some extra attack during my specials. Other than that, it's a pretty straightforward Korg fight, so let's go. Always going to bait out the heavy with Korg. It's kind of dangerous to try and intercept him because if you miss and hit into his block too many times, then you're going to trigger his what is it called? The crowd excitement, is that what it's called? And then if he goes unstoppable and unblockable, he will just nail you with a 5-hit combo, and you're going to be in trouble. So, being bleed immune and debuff immune, in either case, Namor is proccing 1 stack of outrage for every medium attack that I land. So you can see we're pretty not very far into this fight, and my outrage is almost maxed out here. So we're going to dodge a Special 1. I noticed that I'm pretty close. I launched my first SP3 at 28 outrage. His shield is down at the moment, so this will do a decent amount of damage rather than just remove all of his rock stacks. So what's that, about almost 10% I think. So dodge a Special 1. I accidentally get tagged. He thankfully throws a heavy right away, so I barely have enough power to get to my second SP3. That was really close. If I hadn't have gotten hit there, it would have been much easier. So his rock stacks are back up at this time, so this will just remove them completely, which is fine, because then I'm just going to nuke him with a Special 2, and that does an incredible amount of damage, even without the crits. It was, you know, almost, I think, 60 or 70k. Get some basic combos in while we have 2 Furies up. Imperious Rex has fallen off. I still have about a quarter of 1 Fury left, baiting out the Special 2, and Korg is pretty much on the ropes at this point. As long as I don't take a couple combos or, you know, a massive special, I should be able to get out here with the victory. So we're just going to continue to bait out those heavies, pushing him to the Special 2, backing off. Watch out when he's unstoppable and unblockable. And there we go. One more overkill Special 2, and debuff immune Korg goes down. Full AB. Again, very happy with the outcome of that. So that was it for that night. Came in the next day, and this is, you can see there's 10 minutes left in the war, and people were late clearing the rest of the bosses, so it was all hands on deck. Somebody had gone in on this Sinister boss first with low health because there was some miscommunication about, you know, whether we should just dump in on him or if we should go for best matchup. So going to use some medium boosts again just because this is a boss node. One interesting thing to note is this is, I think, a trap for Warlock, and that's why I'm going to go with Void here. So this node has Adaptive, which will generate permanent buffs for Mr. Sinister as the fight goes on. So if you go in here with Warlock, pretty quickly in the fight, your infections are going to pretty much be useless, and then Warlock is going to be useless against Sinister. So the play here is to use Void, not only to get the heal block via the Petrified debuffs, but you also get the permanent, near permanent damage from the degen while you're waiting to bait out special attacks. And a couple points during this fight, he gets a little stingy as far as baiting out specials. I think I push him to a special 2 once, just out of frustration that he wouldn't cooperate. You can see so the degen right now is ticking for, I can't tell, the numbers are too fast, but it's a pretty significant number. I'm not sure what other counters there would be for a Sinister boss like this. Maybe a Mysterio would work, although if you don't push Sinister to his SP2, he's just going to return the poison back to you, and Mysterio's poison you, so it wouldn't matter, but that's less damage you're doing. If we see this same node combo in the off-season, I really want to try a Guillotine 2099 on here. I pulled one the other day, if you watched my Crystal opening video. I think if you started this fight at 100 hits, so you've digitized at least one soul from a previous fight, Guillotine doesn't crit, so you would never trigger his degen, or his regen rather, and then the energy damage would just keep going up and up and up every combo that you land into him. I think that would also counter this fight as well. Alright, so we got about a minute left, and he is just under 40% health. Time is a factor here. Of course, want to stay aggressive, need him to throw his specials as soon as he gets it. My input dropped there. I wanted to go back in and punish the special, but Void just stood there. So I lost a couple seconds there, and then I had to bait out another heavy attack to get my in. So right there, I make up for lost time by just pushing him to his SP2, trying to, rather than bait out another special 1, just go right into the 2, punish the special 2. 30 seconds left. He is almost at 10% health. I'm thinking that I'd pretty much have this fight locked in. It's going to come down to the wire, though. So going to nail in a little intercept there. 1 and 0, 18 seconds left, so a bit of a nail biter for sure, but can't complain. Also can't complain about the outcome of this war, which was a victory finally after, what was that, three losses in a row, I think. We finally get another one in the win column. No potions this war, no deaths, and a victory. This is pretty much as good as I expect a war can go for me, so very happy with that. And I think there's one more war before Christmas, maybe, and then thankfully the calendar is nice enough to not have us be in war on Christmas, which is great. So that's about it. If you like this kind of stuff, please subscribe and like, do all that fun stuff, and let me know how your season is going if you feel like it. Other than that, thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time.